Hello, and welcome to our cozy little community. My name is Aquafay, and today we are going to be continuing our Stardew Valley Tileman Challenge. Today we are going into summer year 1. We have done a lot in the spring, but I'm really hopeful that this time we're going to be able to finally make it to the community center. So let's go ahead and pull that on up. And let's dive on in. We're starting with day 1 of summer with waking up and heading outside. With it being the start of summer, we definitely have a lot of work to do. I went ahead first, checked our mail, and had to find all our tools. It was time to get started on prepping the land and clearing out a lot of space around the farm. Now this of course is going to take a lot of time, but it's super necessary to get started. Too bad we don't have a bunch of sprinklers. A bunch of sprinklers would definitely help us in this situation. But I continued to clear out as much of the farm as possible so that we could have all of this ready for seeds. Once everything was cleared out and I had tilled the land, I went ahead and started to water all those tilled spots. The more prep work we have already done, the easier it's going to be to lay down all our seeds and be ready for the first crop planting of summer. Now after this, I'm not going to show all the times that we water the crops. I'll kind of show you towards the end of all the watered crops. That way you're not sitting here going, oh my goodness, this takes forever. But it does. What is your favorite part of Stardew? Mine is definitely planting the crops. The whole thought of being a farmer is one of my favorite things. Now I will say with this challenge, I started to like fishing as well, which is normally a no-go for me. Then after we had watered all of those spots, we headed over to Pierre's shop right around 10 a.m. so he's definitely open now. Thank goodness we didn't have to wait on him as well. Once we headed inside, the first thing I wanted to grab was that backpack upgrade. I am so tired of not having a lot of space to carry all the items that we have been collecting. That takes forever. Then I also grabbed some of each type of seed, some to go ahead and get ready for that community center when we finally unlock it. And then once we have all our seeds, we'll head back to the farm. It has definitely been a long time coming for that community center. And I know it's going to take so much time to get everything ready, but we got this. So it took some time, but we're able to plant down all of those seeds. And we even had to make some more space for all the seeds because I grabbed a little more than I thought I would. Also, the music sped up is so hilarious to me. What do you think about it? I really should have counted the seeds before I went and bought them so I knew exactly how many spaces I had. But it's always better to have more than what you need. I did have to eat some algae before I finished putting everything down because we were running out of energy. Luckily, this part was just going to take up more energy than just watering the crops in the coming days. So I won't have to worry about giving myself more energy each time. Then we headed up to the cave, and we had a lot of loot in there to grab one up. Lots of fruits, and I'm definitely going to be saving them for later. You never know when we might need them for the community center. Though it's probably going to be a long time till we're able to get there. I headed on over to the museum, and we made our first donation! Finally! If only we had done this in the spring. And the reason I say that is because we got cauliflower seeds as our reward. Oh, that was not helping us now. Then we headed to bed for the night and woke up for day 2 of summer. Grabbed that money from our first donation and headed outside. Of course, we watered all of the crops, and then I had some extra seeds, so I went ahead and made some spots so we could go ahead and put those down. Making sure to water all those tilled spots so they're ready to go. And this time we do not need to eat algae in order to keep going. Then I went ahead and organized some of the items in my chest. As we made our way to clear out a little bit more of the farmland. My goal was to open up more of the space and also to gather additional wood, which I would be using a little later. Because my thought is we're going to have to organize these items a little bit more. Especially since we're going to have to save a bunch of them for the community center. We headed up to the mines, and I was actually able to do a little bit up there today. I remembered all of the items this time. Though we couldn't do a whole lot because I did not have a whole lot of energy. So I just worked on unlocking some of the spaces, so that way when we came back it would be a little bit easier. And we made our way back to the farm, and I started working on those fishing skills. Of course, fishing is now one of our favorite things to help us make some money for the next day, especially while we're waiting for the crops to grow. We finished up our catch, and this is what we got. So I made sure to have some space for the stuff that we did not have yet in case we need it for the community center, because for some reason I cannot remember what all we need. Organized the rest of the items and shipped a couple things. Then we went ahead off to bed because we did not have any more energy to continue this day. Once in bed, we heard this. And there was an earthquake during the night. We ended the day with 261 gold and then started day 3 of summer. We, of course, made our way outside, finished watering all of those crops, organized those chests a little bit, though I'm not sure what I was trying to organize at this point. But I'm just so used to doing it. Headed into the cave, found a peach, and then made our way down to the fishing pier and started working on some more fishing. Fishing is also starting to become something that we do almost daily now. Once we had gathered plenty of fish, we went in to see Willie, who happened to have a little bit of something to tell us about. He told us how we were probably going to stink for weeks. Yay! Who's excited for that? I told him that, yeah, we are enjoying fishing. Because truthfully, this is probably my first run that I'm actually really liking it. And then he had another little surprise for us. Business has been tough, and he's just not making ends meet. And there's something hidden behind that door. Very ominous. Someday we're going to see what's behind there. And I went ahead and sold some of the fish off to Willie. And thinking about it, I really wanted to find out what was behind that door. So we're going to have to become friends with Willie. So I went ahead and made my way over there, talked to him, and then headed off to bed. We did make it to level 7 of fishing. Made 512 gold for the night. And woke up day 4 of summer to a thunderstorm. Gave our cat a little love. Headed outside, and today we did not have to water the crops. And finally, we made our way into the community center and finally could see this plaque that we have no clue what it even says. But we did it. We now have a path into the community center. Finally. Then I went off to do some more fishing. I know, not a surprise. We shipped what we could. I double checked what we needed to keep and got rid of the rest. Back into the shipping bin. We still had some energy, so down to fishing a little bit more I went. And shipped the last bit of fish that we were able to get. Then I thought about it for a moment. We have this algae. I could eat it and try to make just a little extra cash with just a couple more fish. Might not be the perfect plan, but I wanted to try. And we did get a couple extra things that we could sell off. Then we added some things into the chest that I wanted to keep, and off to bed we went. Today we made a little bit more money than normal. We made 2,256 gold. Not bad for a day's work, if I do say so myself. Woke up for day 5 to another stormy day. Headed outside and did not have to worry about watering crops again. Though we did have some crops that we needed to go ahead and harvest. So we grabbed up that wheat. Saw that we could now visit the wizard. And I made my way down to see the wizard. And finally, we had a path to the wizard. And I decided not to skip the cutscene this time. I'm gonna let you enjoy this little bit. The wizard is definitely a very interesting character, we should say. He wanted to tell us about this weird creature called a Junimo, and he made one appear. He wanted to know if we've seen one before. I feel like we definitely have in that community center. And then off it went. Where did it go? We have no clue. This wizard is a little weird. We told him about the scroll that we found in the community center, and he disappeared on us too. We were a little confused by this, and then he just walks through the front door. Again, he's a very interesting character, that's for sure. And then he headed over to his cauldron. And what's really weird about this interaction is he wanted us to come over. And it was definitely giving off this green vibe. Not something we were really interested in. But he encouraged us to drink it, so we did. And then the whole room started turning green. And we started seeing things. We were really feeling the nature. Enjoying floating trees. Our mind was definitely elsewhere. I don't know what he gave us, but that was really weird. But we gained the power of the forest, and we can learn more about the Junimos. With the wizard, we headed to the community center. I put what I could towards the bundles, but I'm really sad that we did not finish the Spring Forage bundle, so we're going to have to try for year 2 on that one. And then we went back to the farm, started fishing some more. Put all that we could into the shipping bin. Decided to fish through the rest of the night. And again, threw what we could into the shipping bin. Put the rest of it into our chest. Ready for the next day. Accidentally clicked the scarecrow. But hey, he's scared off 1 crow so far. Thank you for that. Organized our chest just a little bit. And we headed off to bed. Ending day 5 with 2,799 gold. Not a bad day at all. Woke up ready for day 6 of summer. And of course, headed outside, watered the crops, checked in the bat cave, and headed off to the mines. As we made our way down, I was getting so excited to finally reach new levels of the mine. We had a good bit of gold to help us get there. My goal was to reach level 5. So then we could actually get our first elevator down, which would be very nice to have. Also, I really wanted to start thinking about getting sprinklers. We really need them. So the further we get in the mines, the more likely I am to get sprinklers, and the happy we're gonna be. Because then I don't have to water everything every single day. But I know we're still a way off from that. I went after some of the slimes. trying to find our way down. Luckily, we had a field snack that we could eat to give us a little bit more energy. As I really thought about what spaces we were going to use. We just had 2 more levels. We can do this. At least I hope. Finally, we made it to level 4. I went ahead and ate the pomegranate. I'm pretty sure we already have another one, so it wouldn't be terrible. But we just needed to make it to 1 more level, and I was not giving up yet. We still had a good bit of gold, so I knew I could get through around the mines. We just had to find that last ladder. And I did find it. So I was content and left the mine. We had found the axe for Robin, so we went ahead and turned that in. And got the 250 gold for that. Went to Gunther at the museum to turn in a couple more of our finds from the mine. Made our first furnace. Got started on smelting some things down. And headed to bed for the night. We didn't make a whole lot. We made 7 gold. Not enough to even unlock a tile, but we're trying. We woke up to day 7. Checked out the Queen of Sauce. We learned how to make some baked fish. Finished watering all of our crops. And headed to see Clint. Ready to process those geodes that we have been finding. I was excited to be able to process these and find some new things for our museum. The more we donated, the better off we would be. We got quite a few things from Clint. Some helpful, some not. And went ahead and headed over to the museum. But before we go, checking the trash can just to see if maybe we had something else there. Of course not. Went ahead and added all the new things that we could. And we did get a new reward. So we went ahead and collected it. And we got some additional melon seeds. Those will come in handy. So we went ahead back to the farm and planted those right on down. I was definitely going to be using them for a little bit of a profit later on. Our farm is looking a little more like a farm each time. Now, I did have some space down there, and I'm not too sure why I didn't put the melons down there. But sometimes I do some weird things. We went back over to the furnace, melted down some more stuff. Did a little organizing again. And worked on clearing some more stuff out. Each time we clear a little bit more to the farm, I feel like it looks like a normal Stardew farm. With the extra money, I cleared out even more of our farm area. My thought here was maybe we could finally get a chicken coop. I know it's still a little while away, but if I have an area cleared for it, I might be more likely to actually make it happen. And I'm still not sure why I have not even pulled up our to-do list and write all the thoughts down. Sometimes I don't do that. We went to bed, leveled up in mining, and got a total of 104 gold for the day. Woke up for day 8 of summer. Headed on outside. You know the drill. Watered all the crops. Cleared out some more of the farm. Chopping, chopping, chopping the trees. And headed over to Pierre's to get some more seeds. I had planted them down, and then we went fishing. One of our favorite pastimes now. Again, fishing is becoming one of my favorite things, and I used to hate it. It was one of my least favorite things when it came to Stardew. That and the mines. Went ahead and shipped all of our fish. We still have some energy, so we head back down and finish fishing some more. Went ahead and shipped all of that. The only thing I didn't ship was that river jelly because it definitely gives us a lot of energy and helps us with fishing. So my thought was, it's only $7.50. We could definitely fish a lot more. Ended up getting plenty of fish and a book that we went ahead and read, and we learned a new power. We headed to bed for the night. Level 8 in fishing finally. And made a whopping 3,850 gold. Not bad at all with this challenge. That will definitely help us out. Woke up, watered all the crops, shipped what we could, and headed off to the mines. Again, our main goal being to get as much ore as we can. And to try to unlock a couple more layers of the mine. I work in making a bunch of straight lines to try to get to as much stuff as I can. And I really hate going after slimes right now because I do not have easy access to them. Again, we're looking for that ladder. Sometimes they're easy to find and other days not so much. We finally found that ladder. Headed down to our next level. Unfortunately, the worst part is we don't have a whole lot of energy and I did not bring anything to eat. So I just cleared off some space and then headed back to the farm where I made a bunch of new chests, organized everything a little better, and then we headed to bed for the night. We made a total of 346 gold for the day and woke up to day 10 of summer. Of course, the first thing we do is head outside and water all those crops. Same old, same old. But hey, when you're a farmer, you do the same thing over and over again. That becomes your normal routine. Filled in those extra spots that we had, or at least the best that I could. Shipped a couple things. And finally, made our very first sprinkler. Now it's not much, but It's better than nothing. That gave us 4 extra spots, and this time I don't need to water them. We still have a long way to go though. I worked on clearing out a little space in the house, moving some things around. And yes, I like the bed being right there because then when we come right inside, we can just go right to it. Took some time for me to put everything where I wanted it. But hey, it looks good for now. And then headed off to bed for the night. We got level 6 of farming. And now, of course, we have access to better sprinklers. So we're going to work on that. Got 235 gold. And woke up for day 11 of summer. Headed outside. Did our thing with watering the crops. Shocker, right? Shipped what we could. And headed back to the community center. I was able to find an extra forageable, so we are so close to having the summer one done. Then we headed to bed for the night. Ending day 11 with 740 gold. Waking up for day 12 of summer. Doing our thing of heading outside, watering the crops, checking the bat cave, found an orange, and then heading to Pierre's to grab some more crops. Heading back to the farm, making sure to place them down. And doing our favorite pastime of fishing our day away. We don't have a whole lot of energy, but hey, at least we're using it up. Went ahead and threw everything that we could into the shipping bin. Organized our extra seeds. Organize the rest of the items that we had. And headed to bed for the night. We leveled up in foraging. Made a total of 741 gold for the night. And woke up for day 13 of summer. After waking up, we gave our cat some love. Headed outside. Luckily, it was raining, so we did not have to water any crops, but we had lots of melons to go ahead and harvest. So I went ahead and picked up every single melon. And went through and finished getting the rest of the crops. We went up to the chest, making sure to save some of those crops for the community center, and also some additional quests that would probably come through later. Headed off to Pierre's to grab some extra seeds. I was really thinking about what crops that I wanted to plant. Settled on some melons and also decided to pick up some radish seeds as well. Headed to the forest I noticed that tomorrow will be our green rain, so I wanted to go ahead and make plenty of space so we would have lots to forage tomorrow. We continued clearing out as much of the forest as I could, and then headed up to the mountain lake to do some more fishing. Came home and went ahead and put everything that I could into the chest. Planted down all those extra seeds as well. And headed to bed. Finishing the day with leveling up to level 7 in our farming. And finishing our day with 2,476 gold. Woke up to day 14 of summer. And today was a very interesting day. We went outside and gathered up all the crops. I had lots of blueberries today that we were able to harvest, as well as some of the summer squash. Today had an oddly green tint to it. We headed up to the chest, grabbed some extra seeds that we could plant down in the spaces that we had already brought up. I had all but one spot for that extra melon. Went ahead and started cleaning up the farm. We had lots of fiber to collect today. Sold off our extra crops. Sold most of the blueberries. I wanted to keep some. And then got to work on clearing out the forest. And we visited the traveler. I debated on the dandelion and decided to go ahead and grab it. We headed into the saloon. I knew there would be a lot of people here, and we still had a lot of the villagers to go ahead and talk to. So this was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and say hello to as many of them as possible. Because we still have a lot of people that we have not met yet. So I continued to make my rounds, making sure to talk to everyone that I could, trying to build up those friendships. And clearing out as many spots as I could. Then we headed up to the mountain lake and did some more fishing. Here's our haul. We headed back to the farm to go ahead and put that in the chest and to ship as much as we could. Made our way back up to the mountain lake to do some extra fishing. Finished again by putting more into our shipping bin and being super exhausted, where we headed to bed and finished day 14 with a whopping 7,479 gold. Not bad for this time. And this is where we end for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. And tell me in the comment below what you want us to work on next time. I definitely want to try to work on sprinklers and getting that last scrape to at least finish one of our community center bundles. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.